life actually get easier after entering an IIM, or did the nature of struggle just change?
Like every other student, even my parents asked me that you should prepare for from 11th itself. You'll have 2 years to prepare for IPMAT, and you're bad at maths anyways. To me, the base, like I was so bad with maths, I had to take everything from scratch.
And you also mentioned something important, which is that your overall profile in interview performance also plays a very big role. Hello, everyone, and welcome to RODHA IPMAT podcast, a space where we go beyond cutoffs, ranks, and Instagram success stories and actually talk about what life before and after IPMAT may really look like. This podcast is for students who are preparing for IPMAT, CUET, and other undergraduate entrances, for those who are already inside the IPM ecosystem, and also for anyone who wants an honest and no filter understanding of what studying at an IIM actually means, academically, mentally, and also a bit of personally, right? Because here we don't glamorize that IIM tag. We actually talk about those preparation struggles, we talk about those self doubt, we talk about that pressure in that preparation journey, right? About growth and about everything that usually gets left out in these typical conversations, right? And for today's episode, we have Parisha, a second year student of the integrated program in management at IIM Rohtak. Parisha comes from Assam, from a relatively small town where exposure to competitive exams and top management institute is very limited. Her journey to IPM was not a straight line or a sure shot plan. It was a leap of faith backed by effort, intense preparation, and a lot of internal battles, especially with quantitative aptitude coming from a non-math background, right? And beyond academics, she's also someone who enjoys painting, dancing, and baking, and she brings a very balanced and honest perspective to what life at an IIM actually looks like after the excitement of that selection fades away, right? So welcome Parisha to this podcast. We are so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
So, Parisha, before we get into anything structured, I want to start with something very raw. A lot of aspirants imagine IPM as a straight, clean success story. कि यार ठीक है मतलब कोई नेचुरली अच्छा है प्रिपेयर किया और आईपीएम में सिलेक्शन हो गया एंड दे गेट इनटू अ गुड बी स्कूल राइट बट what actually happens is, and in fact when I went through your story, when we discussed, I think one thing that really stayed with me is failure after success. So let me begin this conversation by asking this: did life actually get easier after entering an IIM, or did the nature of struggle just change?
Okay, so talking about the last 2 years, I feel the easiest part I have been is clearing IPMAT. Once as a normal student, you're in 11th, 12th, and you anticipate, oh, I'll clear IPMAT, and it's all set. I have 5 years clear path, and I'll get placed. Amazing. But no, even I thought that. I was very happy the moment I got selected. I was like, yeah, life to set hai. It's all clear. And then you enter the rigorous environment with 150 other people who are in any way better than you. Every single one is better than you, and you have to compete every day. I could not really adapt to that environment in the first term. I was on my cloud nine that, yeah, I did it. I've already done everything in life. I've achieved IIM. What else do I need? Later, as the academic stress, along with all the extracurriculars, internship courses, this, that came in, I realized how I've failed. I'm failing every day. This is not the benchmark I set for myself. I have to handle the academic rigor, CGPA, and all of my extracurricular activities, and I see all the rest 100 people, they're doing it very smoothly, while I thought only I'm the one struggling. That is where first time I saw failure after success. I mean, academics was never that hard for me. Since childhood, I was fairly a good student. But after entering this, I realized what it is to actually struggle for every mark, struggle every day to sustain what you have earned. So this was hard.
Right. And in fact, Parishi, you come from Assam, from a relatively small town, है ना? यहाँ पर जो कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स का एक्सपोजर होता है, टॉप इंस्टीट्यूट का एक्सपोजर होता है, isn't exactly the norm, right? And when someone grows up within that ecosystem, IIMs, IPMAT, IPM, ओलंपियाड्स, इन सब की बातें बहुत ज़्यादा हम नहीं देखते हैं, राइट? सो हाउ डज द आइडिया ऑफ इवन अटेम्प्टिंग समथिंग लाइक IPM enter your mind?
Up to 10th, I was basically like the other kids, you know. Here, what all you have to do is focus on your academics, focus on your school, and that's it. They don't really think out of the picture. Then later, my sister, she has been in Delhi since the past few years. She told me about IPMAT and she started pressurizing me that you have to do this. I just saw my peers and friends, and they were not really preparing for entrances or doing something extraordinary. So I would insist that no, I don't want to do this. I'll take the normal way. I'll give CUET, go to DU or any normal university, and that's it. And that's when the family pressure hit me that no, you have to do this. It was more like a road not taken for me because I haven't really seen such stories around me. But they pushed me. I went through it, and I'm glad my sister pushed me, and I did it. So it was different, but never wrong.
I really like that reference of Road Not Taken, because that is the poem that I really love by Robert Frost, and I keep on quoting the same poem. I took the one less traveled by, reason can be anything for, it can be different for every person. Keep You took that less traveled by one because of peer pressure, because your parents asked you to do so. But again, that definitely is something that is considered less traveled in comparison to other courses which people usually opt after class 12, be it engineering, medical, and nowadays law as well. But this is one program that is being uh, that has come into picture very recently. So great, yeah, I really like that. And in fact, when you talked about your preparation phase, right, that sounded very intense, you know, but it also sounded very real when we discussed. So, and you also mentioned that your preparation was intense, or you were committed very seriously for your preparation for, let's say, about 2 to 3 months. But again, when you talk about those 2 3 months, those are very intense in terms of number of hours that you've put. So can you just brief a bit uh, about those 2 months? What was that difference that was created in those 2 months?
So, just like every other student, even my parents asked me that you should prepare for it from 11th itself. You'll have 2 years to prepare for IPMAT, and you're bad at maths anyways. So give it time. I did not listen to them. I would barely solve a few questions, you know, and it was all clear. Then after my boards ended, like the very day my boards ended, I had a talk with one of my friend. I met at a competition in IIM Indore, and they told me how important IPMAT is to them and all, and I got fascinated. I was like, okay, my family wants this, I'll do that. That very day I started looking for coachings, and I found a crash course by this coaching. So I decided to join it, and the very first orientation lecture, that was what hit me. And I decided I had exactly 50 days. The very day my board exam ended, there were 50 days, and I thought to give it my everything. And it was actually intense, like 12 hours of classes. My classes would start at 10 or 11 in the morning, and they would go on. There was no end time. You know, at night our teacher would take us and sit for practice sessions. Like, you'll do questions 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever the time is. All I'm doing is questions, mock, from one mock a week, two mocks every day, two mocks a day, because there is a frame of 70 to 90 mocks you're supposed to give. I had to do it in those 50 days. So from base everything, but I started late, very late, but I did everything you can in 50 days. I have no record when I was sleeping, when I was eating. It was all about quants, and quants. So yeah, 12 hours, 12 or more, never less than 12, because
And
obviously
especially
I was in a
from
do
a
or die thing.
correct.
So yeah.
And especially coming from a non-math background, quant must definitely be a biggest challenge, right? And so, but what made quant really intimidating? Was it the concepts? Was it the speed you require to solve questions? Or was it the general fear? Or all of it combined?
To me, the base, like I was so bad with maths, I had to take everything from scratch. Graphs, this, that. So preparing the base was very hard, but once in my first month I was done with the base, it became like a self challenge that, oh, if I can do this, I can definitely solve the questions. I'll do more, I'll do one more, so that I can challenge something I myself was scared of. that I can do this. Even my parents and my family, they forced me that you're anyway bad at maths, you should practice more. That hit me. I was like, how did you call me bad at maths? In these 50 days, I can show that I'm not that bad. I can work on things actually. So maths was a challenge, but it definitely pushed me, kept me motivated. So yeah.
No, that's really great. I think this is one thing that we often study in our B schools also as part of our principles of management and organizational behavior. When you study about those motivational theories, Maslow's need hierarchy, and all those things, right? One thing you see and study about is you can have motivation in a positive way as well as a negative way also. And you can have negative motivation also. Ki something that you fear, and if someone tells you, "Kya, you can't do that," that also sometimes motivate
Yes,
you a lot to do something, right? And
definitely.
you also mentioned something important, which is that your overall profile in interview performance also plays a very big role.
Hmm.
Right? So, do you think aspirants actually underestimate how much interviews can compensate for those written examinations?
Yeah, actually, like since I've passed IPMAT, a few of my juniors and other people, they keep approaching that, oh, help us with the IPMAT thing. And I tell them that apart from your preparation, show me your CV or your achievements. And they're like, we don't have them. Why do we need them? Interviews just, they'll ask us about our academics and it's done. Actually, not. Honestly, I was not very convinced that I'll clear any of the IPMAT exams. I sat in interview for both Indore and Rohtak, and uh, seeing me from a non-math background, they were hesitating to ask questions related to graphs or maths. But then once I presented my resume there, I saw the panel being impressed. It definitely plays a role, especially in my Rohtak's interview. I I can confirm that it was something that changed their mind for me. The panel, they actually distinctively saw me based on my resume and not on my scorecard. That's what I felt. So definitely having a good profile, some different kind of achievements, a bit of social work, it can improvise you a lot. Even if your score is not that high, you can always have something to back up on. So yeah.
Right. In fact, even before the interview, in your journey, you talked about you had CUET a day before IPMAT, and you had your exam center very, very far away from your home, right? So it must have brought some physical exhaustion as well, है ना? That's a nightmare scenario for most of the students कि ठीक है IPMAT शायद
Definitely.
मैं ज़्यादा प्रायोरिटी पे रख रहा हूँ IPMAT को CUET को कम पे रख रहा हूँ, CUET मेरे एक दिन पहले है, मुझे दूर जाना है, थकान हो जाएगी, ठीक है, डिफरेंट एग्जाम, डिफरेंट पैटर्न, डिफरेंट नीड्स, राइट? सो क्या उस टाइम पे ऐसा कुछ था कि अच्छा एक दिन सीयूईटी है, नेक्स्ट आईपीमैट है, क्या मैं एक एग्जाम को स्किप कर दूं या फिर मैं ऐसे लाइटली ले लूं, समथिंग लाइक दैट?
डेफिनेटली, मतलब मैं इतनी अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट थी क्योंकि आई न्यू कि आई जस्ट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर 50 days. And people there who are coming to appear for IPMAT, they studied 2 years, 3 years. So I just thought I don't have a chance at all. So at least मैं CUET अच्छे से कर लूँ. I'll have a good DU college. Then the day my date sheets came, I told my parents, I have my accountancy exam this evening, and tomorrow early morning, it's IPMAT Rohtak. So I'll just focus on accountancy CUET. I'll not go for Rohtak. I'll not go. And they were not convinced. They said, no, at least give it a shot. You have done well, we know. I said, no, I can't. I'm anyway too dumb for IPMAT. That was something I kept telling people. I'm too dumb for IPMAT, so I think I should focus on CUET. And then uh, when my dad came to pick me from my CUET center, he immediately took me away and he was like, "Come on, we are traveling overnight and we are going to your center for Rohtak." I was shocked. I had no preparation, nothing. I had my accountancy paper in my hand and I was going for IPMAT. I just revised on the roadway and I was praying that whatever happens, happens. I know I'm not fit for this. But still, when I went, I gave my exam all stressed, sleepless, concepts mixed up. But touch wood, things turned well. It was hectic, but I think what I learned is never to say no. Even if it feels impossible, at least give it a shot. You never know what life has for you.
And at the same time, I think your parents push you to go, है ना? And I think that decision changed everything. So
Yeah.
looking back, what do you think, how important is it having someone believe in you when you are tired to believe in yourself? You said yeah, you too dumb to do that, but your father like pushed you कि चलो नहीं कोई नहीं, you have to go write IPMAT, and now you are here at IPMAT, IIM Rohtak doing this same IPMAT course.
That was like my key factor in getting into an IIM was someone believing in me. Since the start, I was telling them that no, I can't do IPMAT. It has quants and all. They're like, okay, we're not forcing you. Nobody's saying you it's a do or die thing for you. Just give it a try. Give it a try. We know you can do it. So I thought, okay, and they never pressurized like that. That you must do it. They're like, do it for our happiness. Even if you fail, it's okay. So I was quite chill while writing the paper that it's not a burden on me. It's just something I'm doing for their happiness. And that maybe made me more relaxed and comfortable, calm. I saw others kids. Someone was sweating, itching, and all tired. And I was there very chill that it's okay, even if things don't turn out good, nobody's there to harm me. Nobody will question me. I'm just here for their sake. It was very
Right.
calming, very helpful. So I'm thankful for it.
That's great, yeah. In fact, Mala, all of us needs some person, someone like be it your parents, your friend, your teacher, someone in form of someone who believes in you, believes in your
Mhm.
capabilities to push us forward, to motivate us. So that's great, but it can be different for anyone, different for everyone. But yeah, of course, I think we all have someone, some people in our lives who actually motivate us, and we can bank on them whenever things go wrong. And in fact, coming to the interview part, you must have had a lot of interviews as well. What usually happens? You come across an intimidating panel, right? They have that सीरियस बॉडी लैंग्वेज कि यार बिल्कुल ऐसे खराब से मूड में सीरियस मूड में बैठे हुए हैं इंटरव्यू के लिए इंटरव्यूअर्स राइट हाई प्रेशर प्रेशर सिचुएशन है ना सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक द इंटरव्यूज और इंटरव्यूअर्स एक्चुअली टेस्ट बियॉन्ड योर एकेडमिक्स
Okay, so during my preparation, even while I gave all of my interviews, one thing I realized was they don't expect you to know all the answers. They don't. They don't think you're a dictionary. They don't think you have mugged up all your NCRTs. No. It's okay if you're not able to give all the answers. What they test is your presence of mind, how your and your thought process. They gave me this maths question, which obviously I was not able to solve, but they gave me a pen and paper and whatever you think, just do it. It was wrong. Obviously, it was wrong, but I showed them whatever I was thinking. If I'm making a graph, I made a graph of it and why it is downward sloping, why it's happening this way. They just wanted to know the approach that I'm taking to solve something that I don't already know. What matters is your thought process, how you're handling the situation, and how calm you are even under stress. You don't have to answer all the questions like a rapid fire round. Just be chill, be calm, use good words to make an excuse for not knowing an answer, or even let them know what you're thinking around. That's it. They seem to be strict, but they're there to literally help you. I was confused. What they offered me a pen and paper so I could express myself. They'll always try to help you. You just have to understand the science and work accordingly. That's it.
That's right. And in fact, what they look for is the logic that you are trying to apply, whether you
Yeah.
are able to apply the logic to situations or not, for different case scenarios. If you are someone who is determined to solve a question, these are the qualities that they probably like to check from an interview. In fact, like
Mhm.
your interview happened, you got selected to IIM Rohtak, right? And of course, as we discussed, many aspirants think that biggest struggle ends after the conversion, right? But again, as we discussed, you say that IIM life is more challenging than you imagined. I think the easiest part was to clear the IPMAT examination, and whatever came after that had been very challenging for you. And it must be the same for other students studying in different B schools as well. So what actually hit you the hardest, the academics or the case competitions which go on around in the B schools, or your self expectations? एंड उसके अलावा मतलब ऐसा नहीं है ना कि सब कुछ डिफिकल्टी होगा, कुछ ऐसे फन चीज़ें भी होंगी. तो लेट्स डिस्कस अ बिट अबाउट, वी वुड वांट टू नो मोर अबाउट कि यार व्हाट इज लाइफ एट IIM रोहतक इज लाइक, मतलब बोथ साइड्स, द चैलेंजिंग पार्ट आल्सो एंड द फन पार्ट आल्सो.
So a very easy separable is your life post 9 p.m. and before 9 p.m. So every day, you wake up early and you have classes for long, long hours. In my starting days, I thought how hard it would be. Academics were never that big of a challenge for me. And everyone who has ever converted a B school, they are obviously academically very smart. But again, the academics here actually bring everything out of you. Even if you're smart, you thought I've been a topper all my life. It is not at all going to be easy here. Right now we have 3 terms of 7 subjects each, so we have exams every month a week of exams. So we don't have a preparatory phase or something. 2 exams a day, or in 4 days they'll wrap up all of your exams. Morning exams, evening exams. So, and the very next day your classes will start again. You have to study every day in a pattern. It's not like we have a few chill days and then hectic days. It's all constant. So your mind does not get a rest period. You need academic strength and stamina to survive all together, along with speed.
Right.
That was the hardest. And when you enter an IIM, obviously you're already smart and all. As a person who has always been a good student or a topper all their life, suddenly seeing yourself drop down is self disappointing. You start questioning yourself that what has happened to me. But there is no answer to it. You still have to push yourself down. You cannot take a day off that, oh, I'm having a mental breakdown. Life won't stop here. It's just you have to keep going no matter what, and put your 100% since day one. But the fun part is post 9 p.m. We are in our hostels, our end times are done, all of us come together. We have a room of 4, so it's very fun and all. You enter the hostel and you see somebody making reels, somebody having a chit chat session, people sharing food they bring from home. And it's all fun. At times we organize small hostel parties that, okay, our exams are done, so we'll dance in this one room. And other fun parts are case competitions might sound harsh, but they are fun. You know, we see them as opportunities to leave the campus for a day or two, and then you meet other very smart people who post the event are as fun as you are. You get to meet new friends and you do all your fun. It's not always about winning, but the connections and the fun you have, and also the learnings that, oh, if he or she is the winner, I can learn this from them. The fun in your UG, especially in IPM, is slightly less, yes, as compared to any normal college like DU or wherever, but you'll gradually get the hang of it. So, yeah.
That's right. That's right. In fact, one very important point that came out when you are talking about the academic rigor and all those things at B schools, I think what students do is they blindly chase that IIM tag without thinking about their personal fit, right? So, what do you think are the factors which they should actually consider while choosing institutes, right? Is it exposure? Is it learning style? Is it environment? Is it placements? Or what?
So, uh, I'll talk about a situation related to mine, while we choose after 12. Either you have IIMs, you convert in the Rohtak or whatever, and then you also have top DU colleges. SRCC, Hindu, and all. Now, choosing between them depends on the kind of life you want. Both of them will definitely lead you to good career paths, but the exposure you'll face, or academics, or everything is different. To me, I would say my mind is not very steady. I tend to get distracted very easily. If I see extracurricular activities, I'll jump on them, leaving my academics or seriousness behind. In that situation, being in an IIM, I'm in a conserved environment. I'm very reserved. I have just the 100 people who are studying all the time, so it disciplines me, the everyday schedule, the strictness. So it just calms me down and helps me maintain both extracurricular and exposure along with my academics. But also the different kind of exposure you get in DU. Your company is a bit sketchy there. You get complete freedom. Now there are chances of many negative things. Now that's on you, how you shape yourself. If you think that no, you are someone who wants more of real life experience, more internships and more socializing, then you can definitely opt for that life. Now, I have classmates who have blindly, just for the sake of choosing, they did choose IIM or IPMAT in general. But after coming here, you realize maybe no, I want to do maybe a CA, CS, CMA, or any other thing. That's okay. You can always deviate your path, but once you're starting, don't just fall for the tag. There are different kinds of exposure waiting for you. So you need to know what you exactly want in life before just going for the tag.
And in fact, not just TA and CS, of course, people like you, in fact, do consider an option to write CAT again and join any other B school for the remaining 2 years of your MBA, right? The fourth and fifth year usually. So, how important is it for the students to remember that CAT is always an option, and one examination, be it IPMET, do not actually define your future.
Definitely. I've been with so many friends, till my 12th, and many of them could not clear IPMAT. But that does not end their life. They are in great DU colleges, doing amazing in life, having internships higher than I have. They're learning much more than me, and as of a formal degree, they can appear CAT in a year or two, or take their break, get their work experience, and then appear for CAT. Now, as an IPMAT student, most of us have an option to write CAT, obviously, but we do not want to exit so easily. We write CAT. If we get something better, we'll move out. Else, we tend to continue. We do not want to take a break from life for work exposure because that's scary. What if we lose this seat as well, which we have? There's always a pressure on us of losing the seat we already earned, which other students don't. So, CAT again is a very carefree option if you have not already got into the IPMAT thing. And I also have friends, like my own very close friend, he's a dropper. So, the second time he gave IPMAT, he was pretty sure that no, I'm not getting into any IIMs, I'll better write CAT and all. He was very set for it and he got into a good other college, and suddenly he got a call from here. Now, once you're in another college for a year or two, you tend to understand the importance of exposure that you're getting outside a concise campus. So he was actually considering not to come into IPM and directly go for CAT because it's kind of heavy on you both in terms of your exposure and financially. So yeah.
That's true, yeah, that's very true. And in fact, when we were discussing uh, prior to this, you also mentioned about RODHA, right? Especially for quant. So as a non-math student, है ना, जिसकी quant बहुत अच्छी नहीं है, what specifically helped you? The structure, the explanations, uh, probably the way concepts are broken, or what actually what did you find the most useful thing or most unique thing about preparation with RODHA?
Important thing was Ravi sir himself, Ravi sir as a whole. But even as IPMAT I was doing, so I just randomly opened YouTube for quants. The only structured and complete playlist I could find was from him. Even now, if sometimes I think of doing CAT and trying to study on my own, you'll open YouTube and Ravi sir's lectures are always there. He has covered every concept, and I don't have to go for the base. No NCRT, no base, no nothing. I can directly start from his lectures. The way I can make notes is very clear, concise, easy. So it's just very helpful to me. I get everything on my plate. I get it served directly from Ravi sir. So I just have to eat it up. So that is something very uh, important to me.
And probably that is something that we bank upon, and matlab, we try to do for with all of our courses, all our faculties. This is the core value that we try to keep in any of the courses that we take up, any of the faculties, that we cover everything from the basics, so that everything is, as you mentioned, that uh, presented to you in a platter, served as a plate, right? Served as a platter. But especially when people do struggle with quants a lot. So for aspirants who are struggling with quant right now, what do you think? How important is it to having such platform that actually reduces your fear rather than increasing that quant का pressure कि हाँ बहुत difficult है, मतलब people who are already afraid of quants उनको और overburden होके इतने सारे questions आ जाते हैं difficulty level के साथ साथ, तो वो already it becomes an added pressure.
So as of cons, as I already talked about my journey as well, what I started was with the base. Once I'm done with the base, the confidence build up like this, and you want to do more and more questions to test yourself. And the base is what you get in Rodha. Everything from scratch. So easy. You might think, oh, this is a very childish concept and all. But once you immediately apply it and you realize how important that explanation was. So the base, once you're built, no matter how many questions you're thrown upon, no matter how hard is the time constraint, it just get very easy for you. So I feel this is the most key thing that Rodha provides us, easy concepts in base and step by step, starting with number system and all of it, build upon it one by one, not directly throwing up random topics to confuse us. So the structure and base is very important.
Right. And Parisha, I really appreciate how openly you are willing to talk about those self-doubt, those that pressure, that growth, not just the achievements that people usually talk about in the podcast, कि हमने ये कर लिया, हमने वो कर लिया, but rather like what challenges that you faced during your journey, what all things that motivated you, and you are very raw and real. So just like to close this episode, I'll ask you just one last thing. If a student from a small town like you will sitting with self doubt right now, है ना, कि यार छोटे शहर में हूँ, कभी इस चीज़ के बारे में नहीं सुना, फर्स्ट टाइम I've got to know I'll be competing with people coming from metro cities, right? तो एक वो रहता ही है डाउट, है ना? तो जो भी लोग ऐसे लोग इस एपिसोड को देख रहे हैं, दे आर लिसनिंग टू आवर कॉन्वर्सेशन, what would you want them to take away from your journey?
I feel I always lacked someone as an inspiration from me. I've not seen people from my town or nearby doing the same thing which I'm doing. So once you achieve something which people around you have not, it just opens the way for the upcoming, students or uh, your juniors. I get idealized now when I come back, and the way my juniors or other people talk to me, and they're like as if I did something fascinating. While I'm back in my campus, it's just very normal for Delhi Mumbai people to be in an IIM. But here, the way they see me is as if I've achieved a lot. So, one very inspiring thing is you do something different, do the right thing, and the way you'll get idealized in your own place, in your own family, the feeling is amazing. They'll be the one supporting you the most, they'll be the one seeing you as, wow, I want to be like her. And that feeling is so good when people come and say, we want to do what you did. How did you do? We want to learn it from you. The time when this small town is very proud of you, that is the most beautiful feeling you'll have.
That's really
So
true,
yeah,
and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Parisha, for being this open and honest with your journey. It was a lovely having, or it was a lovely conversation with you for this half an hour. I'm really glad that you could take out some time and join us today for this podcast.
thank you so much. It was absolutely great talking to you. Loved it.
And in fact, for everyone listening out there, especially the aspirants, I hope this episode helped you see IPMET not as a dream bubble, but as a real academic and personal commitment that you would probably have after you join a B school, right? And it's okay to feel unsure about any particular course, right? It's okay to struggle, and it's okay if your path looks different from what social media shows, right? One exam, one college, of one result does not define your entire future. What truly matters is how you learn, how you adapt, and how you keep showing up even when things feel uncomfortable for you. Right? Even Parisha went to write IPMAT examination. Right? Next day when she had CUET, traveling a lot, just through a push from her father. That ठीक है, let's do that. And here she is sitting in IIM Rohtak right now. है ना? And if you found this episode helpful, do share it with someone who's preparing for IPMAT or feeling lost in the process. And if you want more honest conversations, not just about success, but about the effort and mindset behind it, stay tuned to RODHA IPMAT podcast. We'll be back with more real, more raw, and real lessons from students across different IPM institutes. Till then, take care, trust your process and your story, and keep going. Thank you so much.